that, yeah, one of them may use it to get the goal, but I don't know how sustainable that style of play would be for Liverpool because it exposes their defense. I don't know what you think.
Well, it remains to be seen whether it's sustainable or not. It took them to the league last year. So if it took them to the league, then it's sustainable.
No, but the thing is that last season, McAllister played in that position most of the time, and he stayed there. He was actually was present. But this time around, they just go. They just leave Van Dijk and Kanute. And one other thing I found out was that most of the time, in teams that have that pivot, like
Watch Stretch It TV right now.
Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 0. I don't know if you have seen my video on that game. Finally Liverpool win a game, and Aston Villa, a team that has won 4 straight games in EPL. I thought it was going to be the biggest game of the weekend, considering the form of Liverpool, where they're supposed to be, and what has been going on with them. Then Aston Villa, their resurgence after their very weak start to the season. So to me, I was looking forward to watching a very, very interesting and in fact a big game of the weekend. Yeah, I'm not sure if on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe the way that game pound out, not because of the result. I think it may be like 6/10. It didn't really give me what I was expected to get from both sides. So I don't know what your take is on that game.
Yeah, I want to agree to a certain level. I think that the game didn't offer potentially what we thought it would. One being a strong, driven Villa side. That's what we expected to see. They fell short of that. Liverpool expected to see a side again quite determined, and I think they lived up to that because the team, Arne Slot decided to go back to the team that played last season. And that's what he did, and that team fought. If nothing else, they fought to try and win that game. I thought Aston Villa, despite their lethargy, if I can use that word, still created opportunities through Morgan. He hit the bar once, he hit the post once, and I just expected them. This young man that looked like I think he's a French guy, Cassard or something,
Okay,
tall dreadlock guy.
Mm-hmm.
Huffed and puffed, but no end product, man.
Yeah.
Oh man,
A lot of energy.
A lot of energy for somebody so physically and athletically gifted. Final third of the game, runs in closer to the 18, totally clueless. They couldn't finish anything. Couldn't even finish his lunch. It was pretty bad. So yeah, they were quite underwhelming in that sense. I thought Ezri Konsa was immense in defense.
Yep.
Played a really good game. Martinez is declining. For a goalkeeper that
seriously just gifted Liverpool that goal.
Was acclaimed. Just couldn't keep his concentration enough to. So you see that these are some of the things that make Omar goalkeeper. If you don't have a goalkeeper that's good enough to play out of the back, do not do it. Because you're causing yourself problems. Anyways, yeah, it was underwhelming, but I thought Liverpool came to fight, and their fight paid off.
Yeah, the only thing that, first of all, for the start for that game, like we said, it was under. When I look at it, the SG for Aston Villa was 0.31 and Liverpool was 1.09. So that tells you how, shot on goal, both sides. Liverpool had four shots, Aston Villa had 3. Aston Villa had 6 shots off target, and Liverpool had 7. And it didn't take until the 22nd minute before Liverpool had their first shot on target. But the thing that stood out for me in the game is, I know that Liverpool are desperate to win, they're desperate to score goals. But I saw a Liverpool team doing what they have been doing all this while. They only won this game by my own assessment, because Aston Villa are not clinical, like you mentioned. The first 20 minutes of that game, Aston Villa created 3 or 4 scoreable chances and had shots on goal that they couldn't finish. And the reason was because Liverpool were pressing up high with 5-6 players. So when a few times that Aston Villa didn't play from the back, and Emiliano Martinez managed to find their wingers from where he was, they played through that midfield. That Liverpool midfield was just open, and they ran through that, ran to the defenders, and created a few chances that they could not finish. And if maybe Aston Villa had scored one of those chances before Liverpool, maybe we would have had a different game altogether in our hands. So the question now is this how Arne Slot really wants Liverpool to play, or he just trying to survive at the moment? Because I don't think this is sustainable. I think this is the reason why they've been losing games. Because in EPL, coaches and teams will figure you out. They've watched him last season, know that he has gone back to that heavy metal football that club used to play. That Liverpool, they just think that they can outplay teams. And I actually saw a start. Liverpool have only kept, I think it's about 3 clean sheets in 21 league games. So that tells you how defensively weak that philosophy or that playing style is. And so they can only win games by outscoring teams. So yesterday they gave up chances. It's just that Aston Villa did not finish their meal like you mentioned. So I don't know how Arne Slot wants to do it. I don't know if you saw saw it the way I saw it. That midfield in Liverpool is just continually vacant. Yesterday, Gravenberch played. One would have thought that he was going to play like a pivot in that midfield. He wasn't. Him and McAllister, we are almost joining the front players to press Aston Villa. And I saw Gravenberch so many times carry the ball from defensive position and run through the midfield instead of building the attack. Yeah, one of them may use it to get the goal, but I don't know how sustainable that style of play would be for Liverpool because it exposes their defense. I don't know what you think.
Well, it remains to be seen whether it's sustainable or not. It took them to the league last year. So if it took them to the league, then it's sustainable.
No, but the thing is that last season, McAllister played in that position most of the time, and he stayed there. He was present. But this time around, they just go. They just leave Van Dijk and Kanute. And one other thing I found out was that most of the time, in teams that have that pivot, like even when you have your Rodri or you have your Zubimendi or Declan Rice or Partey when he was in Arsenal last season, when your fullbacks are exposed, maybe they're out of position and there's a counter, it's usually that defensive midfielder that goes out there to try to cover for those fullbacks before the team resets. But because of the way Liverpool is playing, that's why you always see Van Dijk and Kanute always all over the place because they are always going out to the left or right to cover for those fullbacks. And that is my worry for Liverpool. Up front, they have what it takes to put anybody under any kind of pressure. But I think regardless of, because EPL, like you always say, is a team of a league of confidence. If people think they can get at you, they will do it. And you cannot keep exposing your defenders all the time because you want to go up front and score goals. Yeah, another thing I wanted to mention, I don't know if you observed it as well. Oli Watkins is one of the strikers in EPL, both of us, like and have come to appreciate how he has grown. But yesterday, his attitude was not, he wasn't putting pressure on Liverpool. And the few times I saw him make 1 or 2 runs, the ball did not come, he just stopped running, he just stopped helping the team. And it was one of those occasions that got Gravenberch that second goal because he carried that ball from a defensive position. There was no pressure on him at all. Ran to that midfield and took that shot. So I don't know if you observed that, and what came to my mind when I was looking at that was the work ethic of teams that achieve stuff. They don't lazy around. They don't carry passengers. Players' attitude is different. Like we're talking about Nuno today. Look at Bournemouth, even though they lost their game to City. The way those players try to retrieve the ball when they lose it was different from what I saw from Aston Villa yesterday. I don't know if you observed that.
Right. Application is key. Intensity is key. Level of commitment is key. And that's the language that, if I may use Mikel Arteta as an example, he uses during interviews. He constantly tells his players, you've got to chase after every ball, and so, yes, it's needed. And it was lacking in Aston Villa yesterday. Right? I think that's partly why they lost. They showed good quality enough to trouble Liverpool and probably leave there with worst case scenario, a draw. Yeah, but they didn't want it as badly. They didn't chase it as badly, and they ended up losing it.
Yeah, it was really, I was really upset. I know people will say because you're an Arsenal, everyone has something like we know. I just wanted to enjoy a good football. Like I said in the beginning, the form of Aston Villa coming to that game, one would have expected different, and considering how what Liverpool have been struggling with in the last, they've lost 6 in 7 games. That's not in any way a good form for any team. So Aston Villa with the form they had coming into that game, I just expected more from them. And you mentioned Emiliano Martinez there. I think he needs to begin to check himself. At some point, though he has always come across to me as a player, as good as he is, I think he overrates himself. And that gets him in trouble sometimes. He is too confident to him, to what his abilities actually are. He's a good shot stopper, but I don't think with faith, he's almost like the Donnarumma. Not bad, but not one of the best. So if you understand that as a player, you should know where your limits are. And he carelessly gave away that goal, and that goal, they couldn't, recover from it.